utilities and so forth, that loan will be completely forgiven. So people ask from time to time, well, what if I can't do 75, 25? Well, then just keep in mind, you know, it's a 2-year loan. It's only at a 1% interest. We're not asking for any collateral, personal guarantees. You're not paying any fees or anything like that. So again, you know, either way, you know, it's a good deal for the business owner. And then the last thing I'll just mention, and this falls under the heading of SBA debt relief. You know, SBA is automatically paying the principal, the interest and fees. If you have a 7A loan, a 504 loan, or a micro loan from SBA, you know, we're going to pay the principal, interest, and fees for up to 6 months. And if you have a disaster loan, you know, that's been in service, you know, regular servicing status on the 1st of March, or as of the 1st of March, we're going to provide an automatic deferment on that loan all the way through the 31st of December this year. But you got to keep in mind, for the disaster loans, you know, the interest is still going to accrue. So that's a snapshot, if you will, of the lending programs and what we're doing to support small business owners in this COVID-19 environment.
There was a question in the chat about independent contractors, and there was a lot of confusion because I think they couldn't get in until the 10th, but there is funding for our independent contracts for our 1099s. Just reference that again, so everybody that's in the group that's working independently, you know, they don't have a staff of 10 to 20, knows how they can get to the table and get support for their business.
Yeah, you're right, BR. The PPP will open up, you know, 3rd of April to the 30th of June. And that was Friday, the 3rd of April. The following week, on the 10th of April, it opened up for independent contractors and self-employed. Same program. It was just 1 week delay for the independent contractors.
Now someone was asking if you could reference the 7A loan repaying. They're saying one of my vet clients had his loan repayment pulled out anyway. Can the funds be put back in his account?
Wait, ask.
So they wanted you to reference the 7A loan repaying. One of her veteran clients had his loan payment pulled out anyway, and can those funds be put back in his account? So I know that with the SBA, some of their loans you guys are deferring. There are things that they can get away from if they already had these loans. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that's what that question is around.
Yeah, it's, you know, if you have for that client, the client has a current 7A loan that's in place. What we are offering is a deferment for up to 6 months, you know, where SBA will actually pay the principal, the interest, and the fees on that loan for up, you know, for up to a period of 6 months.
Okay.
Again,
is that all of your current SBA loans? Whatever you have out there now, you guys are supporting people until we get out of this COVID-19, or is that just 7A?
Yeah, if you have a 7A loan, a 504, or a micro loan, it applies to those loans. And then if you have a disaster loan that was currently being serviced, you know, working with our Office of Disaster Assistance as of the 1st of March, there's going to be an automatic deferment through the 1st of December of this year. The only thing that'll still be accruing is the interest on that loan.
Okay. And Larry, what are we doing about the banks that are saying, okay, we're only going to be able to service our clients? I know Sam was referencing a list, because when we go to your website, we put in our zip code, it's going to tell us all the financial institutions that are available. But how do we know which one of those will service us if we're not a client?
I would just say, like, I know I tested the system one day, and I, you know, just put in my zip code, and I got like 11 banks. And I would just say, reach out just reach out to those banks. And like one of your guests said, women entrepreneurs, you definitely know how to pivot and how to move around and how to get things done. And you have some great guests, by the way. I would just reach out to them. Yeah, I would just reach out to each one of the banks and find out, because like I said, from lending institutions, from their perspective, this is a good deal for them, because normally, we guarantee, somewhere like around 80% on a loan. This is a 100% guarantee. And so the lenders, folks are signing up. I get calls now from lenders who, maybe they're having a little bit of a problem going through the portal that allows them to sign up for the program, So lenders are signing up. We're expanding that pool. If you're running into a lender who is servicing his or her clients, which that's, something, to be expected. I mean, they've got, a baseline of clients, look for some of the others, because we've gone from 3,100 lenders now to about 4,700, and we're picking them up every day.
So Larry, thank you. I want to go through some of these questions. I don't know if you're in the chat room or not, but I just want to make sure everybody's here to get their questions answered and to get the information they need. And we want to make sure we try and do that. So here's another question. What if you are in Chapter 11 bankruptcy reorganization? Can they apply?
In that particular case, VR, I don't know off the top of my head. I'll get you an answer, but what I would say to a person who's asking that question, I would reach out to, I would go online to SBA.gov, find out the closest district office, and get in touch with the lender relations specialist. Every district office has a lender relations specialist that's the subject matter expert on the banking piece, who can apply, and so forth.
Okay, I have a 501c6 nonprofit. They want to know, can they apply? 501c6.
Okay, now C6, that's kind of like the Chamber of Commerce or something like that, I believe.
I'm not sure. I'm a 3.
Yeah, I think
501c3.
Let me just look at something here real quick. I believe the answer is yes, because every day, one point I
know there was a couple of there was one nonprofit, I'm not sure which number, that couldn't apply. So I'm not sure if it's 6, but it was exclusive. They gave us about, I know 16 veteran organizations can apply, 3 we can apply, but I'm not sure about 6. I don't remember if that number was there.
I think a 6 can, because
okay.
You got 501 C3, which are charitable organizations, and then the 501c6 are organizations that work for their clients, similar to a chamber of commerce. But again, I would just reach out to the district office, but I believe the answer is yes.
And for the person that's asking that question, we will have a session coming up next week with some of our local providers, and that's probably going to be, if you haven't reached out to them already, we're going to track back around. Another person asked, and I think we answered this question, but just to be sure, will contractors and single member LLCs qualify for the EIDL? And this is for operating expense outside of payroll.
Okay, so I'm just looking at here. So for the EIDL loan, is small businesses with less than 500 sole proprietors, self-employed, independent contractors, and nonprofits.
Okay, so they would.
They would.
Okay, perfect. Okay, here we say, what have I seen in the loan is auto draft. Okay. Someone said they applied for the PPP loan on 4/6. That was just last week, but they have not heard back from their bank. What is the usual timeline for the banks to get back to them? Do they tell them right away, or does it take them a week or so before they tell them, and then we know we've got to turn around in the money?
Yeah, what we're shooting for is a 5 to 10 business days. And again, to be, you know, to be totally transparent, a lot of this has been the banks have processed the applications, but they're trying to, we're trying to work the implementation of the program at the same time. So if you're a lender and you have a question, because banks, they don't want to be caught at the end of the day, like say if a loan goes bad or anything like that, they want to know, what their risks are. And so we're constantly going back to them, through the Department of Treasury, reminding them, this is a 100% guaranteed loan. The government we're going to back it up. Go ahead on and make that payment. So like I said earlier, we're beginning to see for the PPP, dollars are now going out to the small business community.
That's awesome, Larry.
In fact,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, in fact, I have some numbers here. I was going to just tell you that, a couple of days ago, I was listening at the Treasury Secretary, and he was talking about, of the 349 billion, 230 billion through 4,600 lenders are, at the door and on their, the dollars are on their way out the door. This was only a couple of days ago. And like I said earlier, we're beginning to hear from veteran business owners that they are getting the PPP.
Okay, good. And that was another question I wanted to ask, and someone had asked it earlier, and it was that, is there anything specific for our veterans? And I know we talked about this, a business is a business, but we also talked about how a lot of our small businesses, and we're continuing to have that conversation, because they didn't have banking relationships, because they're doing things independently, we're not able to get to the table first, because banks were saying, hey, I'm going to deal with my clients. So you're out there searching for somebody to do business with. You guys have these regular calls. How does it look with the money now? How much money has been used? How much money is still at the table so that people can find a bank that'll work with them, get their loan in, and still be able to get what they need?
Well, what I would say for the veteran community, I mean, here we go again back to like our veteran business outreach centers. I would definitely recommend checking in with a veteran business outreach center. I mean, there's traditional lending, and then, I think you and I were talking earlier about CDFIs. There's CDFIs that are specifically established how to support veterans. So what we try to do with our veteran business outreach centers, our VBOX, is to bring the veteran business owner on board and sit down and look at what their needs are, reach realistic expectations and match them up with, the appropriate lender. It's one thing to go to a JP Morgan Chase or Bank of America and not necessarily be what we would call lender ready, versus coming into a veteran business outreach center, sitting down, with a lending expert who knows, the feel and, what resources are out there and what the veteran business owner needs to do to be lender ready and get them to that right lender.
So the specific for veterans, and just to be clear, is that we need to connect with those veteran programs that are already in place to get the support we need to get to the table for the larger pool of resources that are out there for all small businesses.
Yes, because what we tell Congress and others when they talk about, what is the benefit of a veteran business outreach center, veterans, we know how to talk to each other, and we know how to work with each other, and we know how to work within our community. So, and that's what we're here for. The VBOX, that's what we're here for.
Okay. So Larry, I have about 2 more minutes left with you. Is there anything specific you want to share with the group? Anything that you want to reiterate that you think is really important that everyone should know? And you're welcome to stay on with us. We're going to bring some of our partners on to talk about local resources that are available. And if my SBA representative, our veteran representative, is on, I'm also going to let her maybe tackle some of these local questions that you've been referring people back to.
Well, I'm not going to be able to stay on with you, but I will say this. We're going to get past this. And,
Yes.
you know, and as veterans, you know, we're tough. You know, we've been there before. You know, we're going to get past this. So I think you know, this is a 25-meter target, if you will. We need to start thinking about the what I would call the 100-meter target, because after we get out of this, you know, there's things like, you know, businesses will probably want to maybe look at the post-COVID-19 environment. We may want to look at adjusting your business model, you know, your marketing strategy, you know, accounting practices. There's all kind of things that are going to be different after we get out of this environment. And so my recommendation to our audience is to continue to seek information, to take advantage of the resources that we offer at the SBA. You know, Bonnie was on, you know, the Women Business Centers are very credible sources of information and support. And, you know, whether it's, you know, business planning, you know, marketing, feasibility studies, you know, forecast, social media improvements and things of that nature, we can help you, all of those things, to help you survive in the post-COVID-19 environment. So come to the SBA. You know, as military people, we're used to being on a team, and now, you know, this is not the time to be, you know, the lone ranger. Get the information, you know, and use it.
Thank you so much, Larry, for joining us. I know that you are in great demand. I really appreciate you making time for us. Please let the administrator know we thank her so much for thinking of us. We look forward to the opportunity when she can spend some time with us and share her vision and her compassion and commitment to women and veteran entrepreneurs. And we'll be back with you again. I know we'll have you back again soon. So thank you again.
Thanks a lot, VR. Thanks for what you do every day.
All right, thank you. So for the rest of our participants here, we're gonna now bring on some of our partners. And the first partner we're gonna bring on is Tracy. She's with the Texas Women's University. She's also with their Center for Women Entrepreneurs. Tracy, good morning. Is it still morning? Up, afternoon.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
Good. Good afternoon, VR. I'm so glad to be here.
I want to officially let you guys know, kudos for the work that you're doing and for getting out there and doing that $1 million worth of grants. And I want you to talk a little bit about your program, where you guys are now, and if you see anything coming into the future.
Okay, great. I'd be happy to talk about that. So as soon as we started working remotely, and before a lot of these things we were required to be working from home, we started thinking about how can we really help women right now. So we brainstormed and we came up with this program. So TWU, Center for Women Entrepreneurs, is giving away $1 million in grants to women-owned businesses. That is $110,000 grants. We rolled that out, I believe it was the 27th. All the days have run together since there, because we have just been swamped with it. This grant was offered on a rolling basis. So that means as they are coming in, we are awarding them then. There is not a specific cutoff date until they are gone.
Okay.
We received to date over 3,000 applications.
Wow. 3,000? Okay, yes. So where are you guys now with 3,000 applications?
So, of course, we announced this right when everybody's working remotely and answering questions and doing everything on our own and not as a team. So I was the contact person with it then. And there were days I answered emails for 15 hours solid.
Wow.
We are in the vetting process right now. We have identified our first 50. We are also looking at the others. So hopefully it is still open because the money has not been given yet. Unfortunately, and I want this for everyone who's applying for grants, please, please, please read before you submit your application. Because of the way we are funded, payroll was not allowed, and that was written in there. And there's so many of these where they included the payroll. So we don't want to see anybody ineligible because they did not either read the guidelines or the FAQs. I often have a lot of people that have messaged me after they submitted their application. If you have a question, do it before you submit your application.
Right.
So again, we are still accepting applications, but we should be awarding and probably will be finished with this program within a week or two.
Okay.
So
you said you're going over your first 50. So when will you look at that second round of 50? And because you're keeping the application process open, will you actually be reviewing all those additional applications beyond the 3,000? Or are you really just going through that 3,000 now to get that next group of 50?
Well, we will go through all of them. And as I've said, we have a multi-step process with it because there were certain guidelines that had to be met in there, and then people had to submit that they were a woman-owned business. And so we're going through those steps to make sure they have submitted everything. So the first person, you know, they're chosen, and then we're going back and making sure they have met all the guidelines there and that they have submitted the information that was submitted with it. So even the ones we have identified as, excuse me, as we go through our purchasing department, if someone has not paid their taxes, they're going to be kicked out at that point because everyone had to be up to date on sales tax and all their different taxes. So we are giving until we know they are officially awarded. So they could be eliminated at any process now.
Wow.
Until the final awards.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this, Tracy, because we talked about this. You thought that because you already had 3,000 applicants, maybe we shouldn't be talking about this grant. But I felt that this was really important because I just put out a poll asking how many women applied. Because if you didn't apply, that was $10,000 you could have used that you just missed out on. And if you didn't apply timely as soon as we put it out there, again, you may have missed out because you're so far down the road. So as you find, it's a rolling basis. As you find those 100 good businesses, although there may be 2,000 additional ones, it's going to be those first people that got to the table. And I guess this goes back to what you say, women don't apply a lot of times. So how are you guys working it?
So I want to thank you for saying that, because I did think, oh, you know, you just wanted me to talk about the grant, but you are so right. People have got to, when they see an opportunity, apply right away, but make sure, again, that you read the instructions and you do it correctly, because we can't take additional documents after the fact. So we're doing, again, and I think you are so right on that. When you see an opportunity, especially right now, you need to jump on it because some of the others have limited funds as well. So if you don't apply right away, you could miss out on the whole thing. But exactly. We are going to go through, again, on the rolling basis makes it more difficult too, because they're all time stamped as we're looking at those. So if you didn't get it in right away, yours may not be looked at.
So are you guys looking, you had so many applicants, are you looking at doing another round of loans? Are you looking at your funding to see if there's an opportunity to get back to the table, to help more women? Because there is obviously a huge need. You received 3,000 applications with only 100, grants available. What's the next step?
Well, we're looking at that right now. We are really trying to get through this process before we see, because I can tell you, we feel for every single person that sends that application in. We hear how much women are hurting and what a hard time they are having. And many of them are solopreneurs, sole proprietors, and they may be the only one caring for their family. So we will look at this. But we need to get through this process first, because it really has been all-consuming, but it's totally worth it. We're just so excited that we were able to even offer this program.
I think someone had asked, was there any specific industry? And I don't believe there was, but this was open to all, women-owned businesses, but there were some stipulations. What were those stipulations for those people that didn't qualify to apply?
Well, they everything, and again, this is where it's important for those who were applying to look at who can apply. So it's existing women-owned businesses, at least 51% directly owned and controlled by one or more women who are U.S. citizens. So we've gotten a lot of questions, again, that people don't realize just because you're married and have a business does not make it woman-owned. That we've had many that were at the 50-50, and we're asking, does that 1% matter? Well, that 1% makes the whole difference whether you're considered a woman-owned business or not. So they also had to be a U.S. citizen because, again, the way we are funded. We did get a lot of questions about what if they had a green card, but at this point, we have to go by our guidelines that they are U.S. citizens. Mm-hmm. It still can be any type for-profit business. They must be suffering some type of hardship due to COVID-19. There are some, whereas their business is totally, there are some businesses that aren't being as hit as others right now. So we wanted to make sure we knew that they really were suffering because of this. All their sales taxes.
You know what, Tracy, I do want to address that point because it was something that Larry and I spoke about. We have a lot of businesses that are just breaking even. And then we have some businesses that were already not profiting. They were already not doing well. And now COVID has made that worse. How does a business in those situations where they were just breaking even, or they were already at a deficit, but they were keeping their head above water as much as they can, now they're suffering even more? How do they demonstrate that this is now related to COVID when you can't see those profits from before?
Well, we did have them write a narrative, so we knew a little bit about their business and what was happening and what they couldn't pay for now. So we wanted that in the narrative so we would understand how it's affecting them. For those that we can't help or some that could not apply online, we are referring them to the SBA, to the PPP program. We are letting them know all of the other resources that are out there that are available to help them right now.
Okay, so if you can't work with them, you are following up with all of these applicants?
We are going to, yes, because everyone's going to get a letter from us again. It's been a lot of work in 3 weeks. So when we send that out, we're going to have all the resources we talked about today, the link to the Treasury, the SBA, and let them know of all the programs that are available. We also are doing the small business advising. So there have been, and while trying to do this as well, I've worked with many clients too. How can they pivot their business? Is there something that they can do right now? And so we're offering them that opportunity as well. And with the advising, we are also helping them fill out those applications if they need assistance or not sure how to go about it.
Yeah, we want to let everyone on the line know too, the Veteran Women's Enterprise Center is here to help you with your business strategy. We said this before, and I'll keep saying it over and over again. Now is the time to get innovative. Now is the time to rethink what you're doing, to decide if those things have been working for you. And if you're doing things that are not working, now is the time to start rethinking that. How do you come back stronger? Not just come back. We don't want you just to survive COVID. We want you to figure out how to thrive in this environment, and then to have that crisis management strategy put together for your business. So no one could imagine this, but now we know that things like this can happen. Let's start thinking about the unimaginable. And how do you put that backup plan in place to be ready for those types of situations? So I'm glad to hear that you guys are available. We are so glad to still have you guys as partners. We want to figure out how to make this more fun. Every month we're going to come back with our women warriors winning the business battle. Our guest was awesome. They're showing you how they're thriving, they're out there, they're finding new ways to do what they do, they're getting to the table and applying for these loans. And we're going to stay on top of that. So Tracy, I want to thank you for sharing. If there's anything else you want to know, because I know I think I kind of cut you off in midstream. So if there's something else you want to know, please go ahead and get that on the table so everyone knows how they can get connected with you guys. You guys are out in Denton. So, hey, all of our partners on that further side of the DFW, this is a place to get connected.
Thank you, VR. We are funded to help women anywhere in the state of Texas. So if you're looking for advising, again, we're doing all of that virtually as well. And our grant programs are open to that. We will have a different grant program in a couple months. And then we have our micro grant program every fall starting in September. We announced that one. So there are funds that will be available for other projects in the near future.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks,
Our
VR.
other partner is the Texas Veterans Commission, their entrepreneur program. Christina is with us. And before I bring Christina up, Christina, did I unmute you? Before I bring Christina up, I just want to remind you guys, the Veteran Women's Enterprise Center has developed a COVID-19 resource center. We've kind of put the resources in there by national, state, local, and we've also found a number of resources that are kind of like tools and training opportunities. So if you're looking for information, it's there. We're linking you to that actual website. So if they have any changes, you should see them on their website. So please use that tool. We want to make sure that we're being a resource to you. And also tomorrow evening, we are kicking off our Trending Thursdays tips. Every week we'll be doing that at 6:30. It's also a Zoom session. And our guest will be Elizabeth Gore, and she is the co-founder and president of Alice. And they have a business all-in grant program, and they are also doing $10,000 awards. So you definitely want to join us. Bring your dinner, bring your drinks, whatever makes you happy. Get comfortable and get your tips for Thursday on what's trending. And Alice is definitely trending in the midst of COVID, and they're working with some really great partners. So that's on our website. It's on all of our social media. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to get connected. Christina, let me get you up here. I am new to Zoom, so you guys know I'm gonna need some training here so I can make sure I get this right. I was hoping to be able to get you guys all up here at the same time, but I'm getting one person at a time. So Christina, go ahead and wave to the group. I haven't been able to get you in full screen yet. And okay, tell us what's going on with the Texas Veterans Commission. What are you guys hearing from the state of Texas? What's available to our ladies?
Okay, thanks VR, and hello everyone. I'm glad we could be here together. So we've really been focusing our efforts on the team, the Veteran Entrepreneur team, to help our veterans. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been inundated with a lot of them in crisis mode, as you know, because the situation was so fluid and information was changing so rapidly. So I did have some veterans that unfortunately got caught up with the Wells Fargo situation. We're having to go to another another small business, another small bank, and just this one particular one had 17 employees, and he was just, beside himself. Some were 1099, some were W-2. So he had some crushing issues going on. But through that process, we also learned what was going on behind the scenes. We're able, with the SBA and some of these other banks, to connect him to resources. In that particular case, he just got his $10,000 advance yesterday,
Okay.
even though he started the process on March 24th. So we know that funds are moving. All the money's out there. It's just the pipe to get it down to those who need it in the grassroots level. So that's really a struggle, I think. So we are definitely connecting veterans to resources, and we are looking for opportunities with Lift Fund and People Fund for the bridge loans, because what we see happening, if there's going to be a delay, how many months, I don't know. If you can get your funds, great. If you can't, the bridge loan may be an option for you. I was glad to see that Larry mentioned the Small Business Express loan, which we didn't even know about like 4 days ago. But I know that Lift Fund and People Fund were offering those loans to at least the veterans that we were referring them to, the veteran business owners, to help them bridge until they could get fully funded. So we're definitely still working on that.
So Christina,
Yes.
Christina, talk a little bit more about the bridge loans. I remember Larry mentioned it, but give a little more info, because this is the Veteran Women's Enterprise Center. A lot of our guests here are veterans. So let's make sure they understand that this is available.
Well, from my understanding on the People Fund, Lift Fund loan, the bridge loan, if you go through them, was up to $60,000.
Okay.
So that, with the intention was to really get you until you could get fully funded by your EIDL, if you had applied for the EIDL program. Now, the small business one that Larry mentioned is only $25,000. It's an express loan, again, to help bridge to you can get fully funded. Now, depending on the size of your organization, I think, I'm not sure how much your EIDL is going to be, but we have been seeing in the chat box about the PPP, and it's only $1,000 for your employee, per employee, really up to $10,000. So I think that's part of the learning curve here. Everyone's situation has been so different. That's why we've been talking with sometimes the lenders directly, definitely trying to point our veteran business owners to the right people. It is frustrating, and I know getting a Dear Advocate or whatever notification isn't comforting, but at least you're acknowledged that you are in the pipeline and in the system. And from my understanding with the conversations with the SBA, at some point a loan officer does reach out to you. So you actually have a name and a person to speak with. So that's good. So that's kind of where we're focused, based on the fact that they're filling out PPP and EIDL and getting their advance. So that's all I was going to address on the EIDL right now, if that's okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention a couple other things.
Yes.
I was the one who asked a question about the 7A loan, and here's why.
Okay.
In that case, going back to the banks, if you already have a 7A loan, the bank was still taking the loan payment. What we found out the hard way was that the veteran had to go in and manually stop the payment, because now in the case of the Wells Fargo veteran, they took a $3,000 payment at the same time he was asking for the EIDL. So then he had no funding in which to even pay for his the rent on his business facility. So, and Wells Fargo said, well, you'll get it back in 2 or 3 weeks. Well, that doesn't help him now. So what I was trying to get at with Larry was informing the individual to manually go in and stop the payment. That's what's required, my understanding, at the bank. The bank is not automatically going to do it, even though the deferment information from the SBA is there. So my recommendation to those on the phone is definitely go back in, if you are in 7A, stop the payment or tell the bank you're stopping the payment and want to be in the deferred payment per the SBA. A couple other things. Our previous guest from the National Women's Business Center, she had some really good information, and I just wanted to let you know that I did interview Jessica Flynn a couple weeks ago for our podcast, and she did address, she's from the National Women's Business Center also. I know she's been a guest at your location.
Yes.
She did address the disparities in access to capital, women in STEM, and rural entrepreneurship. And in one of my podcasts I'm going to upload today or this week, she does discuss the 4 pieces of legislation that are affecting veteran-owned businesses. I'll put that out there, and I'll also send it to you, VR, if folks want to listen. Now, I know our Congress is busy with EIDL, but at some point, there's 3 or 4 pieces of legislation that will also help veteran small businesses moving forward. And I think it's really important that people contact their representatives. whom, by the way, are all up in your neck of the woods in Texas 32, 33, and 21. We have representatives Chip Vesey and Colin Allred, who
Yes.
are on the Veterans Small Business House Committee on Small Business and Veteran Business Affairs. So I'll put that information out there. I think it's important to stay informed moving forward. Our women's program will be putting out more information on the Women's Veteran Private Network. If the women on the call, the women veterans are not on the call that are not part of it, I can send that link out. It's also a good place to get contact with other women veterans, get more information, everything from job opportunities to information that we're discussing today. So I'll make sure Catherine Smith puts that out for our group up in the DFW area.
Okay.
The governor, the economic development team from the governor's office did have a presentation yesterday also on COVID. I believe it was recorded. I'll try to send that out too, so people have a chance to look at this, on their, should I say spare time, but to digest some of this and some of the mechanics that are going around and any other programs that the state may be offering. So I'll send that out too. And then on the last thing, I thought it was really important that Larry mentioned post-COVID. So I think in the Veteran Entrepreneur team, we're looking at how things are going to change moving forward and what we can do to help our veteran constituents who are still looking to start businesses. We are still getting calls about veterans trying to start businesses. So, So I just got a block here. Sorry about that. Somebody. So I just want to let you know, we are still helping veterans start businesses, are getting those calls, but lenders, People Fund, all like that, are all focused on this COVID situation before they're out going to be distributing funds for new businesses. So I want people to keep that in mind as well. But we're still here to counsel all of our veteran business owners. I'm happy to take questions where I can, or if people want to reach out to me individually, I'm happy to do that, because I am also concerned about mental health. I think that a lot of this is really affecting people's, not only their home life, their personal life, their business life, and there's a lot of things that are going on. Just even talking to someone else outside of their circle might be helpful. So we also welcome that too at the entrepreneur team.
Thank you so much, Christina. We're always glad to be partners with you. Let us know and keep us informed what's going on so that we can make sure that all of our veteran businesses are well connected. And we've reached out to the governor's office, and we hope to be hearing back from them. Ladies and gentlemen who are on the line, we're going to be starting our Monday morning message. It will be Monday mornings at 10 a.m. And that's going to be strictly dedicated to getting an update from our political environment about what's going on. And I will let you know as soon as we have our confirmations who those individuals will be on that particular session. But we want to stay in contact with them. We want to hear what they're working on. We want to be able to give them some input as to what we're experiencing and share that information. So stay tuned for the launch of our Monday morning message. So I wanted to see if Bridget was still on the line. Bridget is our our local veteran SBA coordinator. And I wanted to give her a chance. There were a number of questions here that were related to SBA, and Larry had mentioned them and referenced that we wanted to go back to those
there.
different.
It'll say get more information from Corona or COVID-19 or funding options. It says funding options.
I'm sorry, say it again.
And when you go to funding options, you'll see the 4 different options. You go to the one that says EIDL, EIDL, and apply online.
Yes, I already applied for that.
Online?
Yes, I applied after I sent the letter. But my question is this, even though I sent it to that address 4400 Ammon Carter Boulevard, I'm glad that you confirmed that. So my letter is being lost, and I've been on the phone since 9 o'clock trying to find out where my letter went. And it confirmed this morning. I just called the Euless, Texas post office, and they confirmed to me that this place is business, 150 West Parkway, 130. Is that where you're at?
Yes, that's our new location.
Okay, they told me that they received my certified, because I sent it through certified mail.
Yeah, that we got it, and they'll get associated with the with the SBA disaster office. But what I'm trying to tell you, hon, is I know you applied on and printing out the application and the forms, and you sent it in, put your application. That's fine. But we're also asking everyone to apply online and still keep your, okay, so you've got 2 applications.
So guys, I'm not sure if that conversation with Bridget was for everybody or if it was just for someone she picked up and she's talking to someone and doing the call at the same time. So we're at 12:45 now. I wanted to go back to our guest, Sam. I'm going to start with you and just ask you, did you have any other questions? How did you feel the information that they shared with you was, if that was helpful to you or not? And what are those next steps for you?
Yeah, some of the information was helpful, like the $25,000 advance. I think that would definitely help me in my business currently. I didn't know about that one. I knew about the EID, I knew about the PPP, but I did not know about the bridge loan. What I do want to tell everybody that's still on the call, my mom works for a bank. It's called Inwood National Bank. And what they did was they started the PPP process strictly for their customers only, because they actually just got streamlined, went through the streamline process because they weren't doing SBA loans at first. But because of the mass amount of clients that they have that needed this new program available, they went ahead and got streamlined, are now offering it, but they're only doing it to their current clients because it's new and they've never done it before, and they need to make sure the process is done correctly. So that may be one of the issues that y'all are having when it comes to your personal banks. Even if you haven't created that business relationship with them, they may only be giving it to those clients specifically because they already bank with them. Their money isn't going anywhere. Now, you as a new person, you might, create issues, etc. So just definitely call everybody on the list. There's a couple that I'll send out later, and that I know that are taking clients. I did post in the group the link to the PPP Facebook group where everybody's, talking about Chase, talking about Bank of America not accepting new clients, or if you don't have a loan with this bank, they're not letting you do it, etc. But with me, I am definitely going to apply with the $25,000 bridge loan to be able to help sustain what I am doing in my business, to continue to grow it even during these times. So,
and Sam, I want to say while you were saying that too, everybody that's a veteran should also look into People Fund and Lift Fund because they have veteran specific programs. So check out and see what they're doing. And if that bridge grant is available to you or if you qualify. So definitely do some follow up. Thanks again, Sam, for sharing. I think there were a couple of people that said, hey, I'm in real estate. I didn't think I applied. So it's so important that we let people know what's going on and that you hear from people in your industry. So you just don't assume you can't get help, but you get the right information. So I really, thank you again for coming on, and let us know, stay in touch. Let us know what's going on. If stuff's not working, be like, VR, that stuff's not working. I didn't get my check. Where these people at? And we'll get back in contact with the right people and find out what's going on. Angela, I want to check back in with you. Make sure you got what you needed.
I did, and there was a lot out there. I'll definitely look into that 25K loan too with the bridge. And also, I wanted to say, I don't know if everybody, if y'all were on the news a couple of nights ago with the Lift Fund, we brought up the Lift Fund, and I think they have partnered with the state to start providing, some resources, loans, some relief for that. So just go on there, keep that in mind as far as with the Lift Fund. But yeah, this was very informative. They got some things, and I'll continue to do what I'm doing and put in more. The Texas women, I didn't know, but you know what? I'll definitely apply for it. Even though what she was saying, I'm still going to put that application in there. I didn't know about that one, but I definitely will.
Okay,
and
you just made a really great point, Angela, and I want to hit on it before you leave. Everybody on here has got to get connected to our social media. We're at Veteran Women SEC because we posted it and we reposted it where other people posted it. So anytime things come out, you'll see our social media hits. They're not that busy because we don't put out everything. We put out things that are relevant to you guys. So if we hear about grants, if we hear about programs, things that we feel that are going to be helpful. We don't always put out even everything we do. Some of our events don't even hit our social media. But you got to check that social media, because if we know about something that can help you, we're putting it on social media. So none of our members should not know because it was on our social media. So you've got to stay connected. So I just want to, while you were saying that, put that out there. So if you're not there, Veteran Women SEC. Veteran Women SEC. I'm sorry, go ahead, Angela.
No, I was just saying I will, and that's kind of something with me moving forward too. Coming out of all this, social media is a big thing. I wasn't really into that or on that a lot, but that is something I will be doing moving forward. And I just want to say again, thank you for inviting me on this platform too. You know, just put out there in reference to what's going on in our industry, the child care industry.
I'm so glad to have you, Angela. I work with you with SCORE, and you made me come up with another good point. So we were supposed to have one of our SCORE partners on. I've been searching the participants and I don't see them on here. Please know that SCORE has been working vigilantly. They've been doing webinars with their volunteers and make sure that they understand the SBA process. So they're there to help you with the loan. So if the language and the information is difficult, reach out to SCORE. This doesn't have to be your main mentor. You can just get a mentor for this process. They also have a new Women's Leader Resource Center. That link is on our website under Women Specific Resources in the COVID-19 Center. That center has a lot of information specific to us as women, and you want to get connected. I mean, it's a great resource center. They just recently launched it. I think the other thing everybody needs to start noting, there's going to be some changes with the SBA certification for women businesses. And that's also on our COVID-19 website. So make sure you go through, check out some of the things that are specific to you, because as we come out of this, you want to be ready. So if you haven't taken note of these things, now while you have a little bit of time, take note and get ready and get the information that you need. Angela, I'm so glad you could be with us, and keep in touch.
Thank you.
Let me know what's going on.
Will.
Let me know what you need. And we're going to do everything we can to try to make sure that we can get it to you. Vaughn,
I will. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, dear. Vaughn, I want to hear from you.
Yes, ma'am, and to everyone. And I'll just tell what Angela just said. I am not techie, all right? That's not my generation. And I was
with the new generation.
Yeah, and so I am being forced to do things. So like you, VR, I am new to Zoom. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So what I realized in this pandemic, in this crisis, is a need to gravitate and learn it. Right. And I know from my own business, as the gentleman from the SBA was stating, post COVID-19, I don't believe I'll be able to offer the services and deliver them the same way. I think these experiences that we're having right now with virtual learning is going to force me in a paradigm shift I have not supported. I am not a key component to online training because it really doesn't lead to the competency that prevent injuries, and I've got tons of data and history to support that. However, the practices that we're living with day to day, people are going to become comfortable with doing it online, away from the hands-on, the illustration, and the more applied learner versus a visual learner. I think we're going to be pushed to more visual learning, which means when I take that shift, I'm going to need product, different curriculum, different equipment to be able to run those visual platforms. So I'm going to start looking at the post-COVID-19 impact and how do I change that business paradigm.
Okay. And the information that we shared today, was that helpful for you?
Oh, absolutely, because I need to tap into all of those resources and see where the best partnership is, who's doing what, not only for the monetary portion of it, but even these other veteran networks that I don't want to build websites, but who has that expertise?
Exactly. And while
Yes.
we're on here, let's make sure we're networking. So you're seeing who people are, you're hearing from them, you know, post in the chat if you need to connect with somebody, if you need information for somebody, make sure that you're making a note in the chat room so people can see it and hopefully get back to you. We are recording this session, so you will be able to go back if you missed something, if you had to jump out and see it. I'm going to share my screen for just a second, you guys. I want to take you to the to our website, and I just want you to see we've set up this COVID Resource Center for you. So we have it done by national. We have a state page for you, and specifically those available resources. A lot of the different organizations are offering you resources that you can get for free while we're doing this while we're in this COVID-19 experience. And so there are webinars, there's trainings, of course, there's the grant information. We've listed them in alphabetical order for you. Good Lord, couldn't get that out. They're listed in alphabetical order for you, and so you can just go through and see what you need. But there are some great forecasting tools for those of you that need to do that. There's some great tools on there for you to look at how much money you lost. And when you're putting in these grants, you can tell them, look, this is the percentage of money that I've lost. So there's a lot of different tools in there that can help you kind of figure all these things out in a way that you may not have thought about them before. I know that the deck, I know that Alice, and she'll be talking about it on Thursday, they have all put together tools to help you through COVID-19. So make sure you make yourself aware of these resources and use them appropriately if you need to, because we're all working hard to make sure you guys can get everything you need. The last thing I'm going to say is 12:55, and we're going to end a little bit early, is that if you need something, if you want us to present something, hey, go ahead and throw that in chat. Tell us, hey, can you get a session with this person? We'd like to know more about this. If there's something that you want us to do, please let us know so that we can do a better job of serving you. We're only here for you. We're not here for us. So let us know what we can do differently and what we can do better as we continue this. So every week we will have a Monday morning message. Next week we'll have our Women in Wealth Wednesday, and we'll be doing that Bless You every Wednesday. And then on Thursdays, we'll be doing our Thursday trending Thursday tips in the evening. So we have something in the morning, something in the kind of late, early afternoon, and then something in the evening. So whatever your schedule is, we hope that you'll be able to fit in. Ladies, I'm going to go ahead and bring this to, ladies and gentlemen, I know we have some gentlemen on here. We're going to go ahead and bring this to an end. Thank you so much for joining us for our launch of Women Warriors, Winning the Business Battle. Now go out there and do what you do, and that's win. Have a good Wednesday.